In my FOA, I will begin by delivering the testimony of the defendant, Pedro Vicario, and then showing the witness statement by Davina Floor, and finally ending with the verdict in my FOA of the trial of Pedro Vicario. By the defendant, Pedro Vicario. Your Honor, I stand here today to defend myself from being sentenced to life inside of a rotting prison cell. And there are many reasons as to why I should be set free today. Now, I know that I have done things that are supposed to be illegal, but in my case, I did the right thing, and I am sure that any man or woman in this room would have done the exact same thing. My sister, Angela Vicario, was raped. There is no doubt about it, but there is also no doubt in my mind that the man who I murdered was far more guilty than I. I know that my sister was raped by this monster, and I know that he is a monster. For instance, when talking to Davina Floor, she can tell you the story that she expected her virginity to just be taken by Santiago Nassar, and she is quoted as saying that he grabbed my whole pussy, but it was what he always did when he caught me alone in some corner of the house. Your Honor, the machismo and the culture in this town, in a small country of Colombia, it has just filtered around the fact that rape is okay and that these young defenseless women have, nothing to live for other than they're going to lose their virginity to Santiago Nassar. It's inevitable. And, Your Honor, this man should not have been allowed to continue in his ways of taking advantage of these young women. And now, I'm not here to tell you that I did not kill Santiago Nassar, because I did. But I am here to tell you why my actions should not be held against me. First of all, he raped my sister. Any unjust rapist should be killed, as you wish to do with me, only I did it before anyone else could. But, Your Honor, it was only for the honor of my family. I would have been forced to live my entire life knowing that I did not protect my sister when I needed to, and that after the fact did not represent her or do what she would have wanted me to do to protect the rest of the young women in this small city in Colombia. I simply cannot live consciously like that. Second of all, everyone in this courtroom knew what Santiago Nassar was up to. Santiago Nassar raped my sister. He raped Davina Floor. He raped countless other women. And yet we continue to live his glorious, rich life. And finally, anyone else would have done the same thing as I, given the opportunity. Where we are, deep in South America, we do not just allow for our families and our sisters and our mothers and our daughters to just be disrespected in plain sight. But the one problem that I have is that if this man were to go to court, he's already proven how rich he is. He could have bought the jury. He could have bought the judge. He could have bought a new courtroom for all that matters. He could have been the mayor by tomorrow if he wanted to be. But I believe that justice had to be done, and so should you. For these reasons, I believe that I did the right thing, and I should be held to the only thing higher than Colombian law, moral law. Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Your Honor. I am Davina Floor, F-L-O-R. Now, I have lived my entire life in this town, and I would not trade it for the world. But I would be lying if I told you that I loved every single part of this town. The culture that I have been forced to grow up in. You know, everywhere around this town, there are scared women who do not know what it is like to stand up to a man. And even when I tell you right now how hard it is to stand up here and talk to a male figure, I simply cannot exaggerate it. The level of sexism that has been embedded in this town's culture is absolutely blasphemous. As a girl, I was raised believing that Santiago Nassar would just take my virginity. But why? He's just a normal man in a small Colombian town, right? No. His father did the same thing, and I am sure that Santiago's son would have done the same as well. For some reason, there is this culture code in this city that basically tells all young women to succumb to the men in the Nassar family and to never have the power to say no. Until now, this very instant, the women of this city have feared Santiago and the rest of the Nassar family, especially those underage young women who don't know how to say no, who can't physically defend themselves, and who are not mentally stable enough to deal with the pressure that is put on them by the Santiago family. Now, do I believe that what Pedro Vicario did was wrong? No, not at all. The wrath that has come to this city is now done. Pedro has saved the mental states of just about every woman in this town, no matter their age. The things that the Nassar family has done to just about every single woman in this town has been intolerable, and I'm not sure how this city has survived with this catastrophe that has been going on. It is an absolute epidemic what this Nassar family has brought to this beautiful town. Now, one question that I was asked earlier was, why did I not tell Santiago Nassar that he was going to be murdered that day? And I will tell you why exactly. Simply, Santiago Nassar has instilled so much distrust into this village that even I was too scared to confront him. In this city, Santiago confronts you if you're a woman. You do not confront him. For me, a person that did lose my virginity to Santiago forcefully, you really think I'm going to go out of my way to tell this monster of a man that he is going to be killed? He would have tied me down instantly and taken me into a corner, as he normally did, and done whatever he wanted to do because he's Santiago Nassar. He doesn't like what I tell him. He doesn't like the look that I have on my face. And because of that, I would have had to suffer myself rather than have the man who I have hated my entire life suffer because of his own actions. I refuse to save the man who I believe should have been the one saving me. He turned me away from him, and so I would have continued to do the same and turn away from him to this day. Santiago Nassar was hated by almost every single woman in the city, and I can speak for almost all of them when I say that I am glad that he is no longer with us today. Pedro Vicario did the right thing. Set him free, because without him, the women, including myself and including all the children, including our daughters, our sisters, and our mothers, would still be afraid of the Nassar catastrophe that has struck our town. Thank you, Your Honor.